If you run an accounting firm, you know this feeling all too well. You're good at your job, which means you get more clients. But instead of that feeling of success, you just feel stuck. It's this weird paradox that so many firms face, but nobody really talks about. So let's break down why it happens and talk about a much, much smarter way to scale. This is it, isn't it? This is the question that keeps firm owners up at night. How in the world do you scale your success without just scaling your stress and your headaches right along with it? This is the big problem we're going to tackle in this explainer. Okay, so first things first, we got to really understand the problem, and we call it the growth trap. It's this sneaky cycle that can quietly sabotage even the best firms out there. Just look at this cycle for a second. Every single step seems logical, right? You get more clients, awesome. So naturally, you have more documents to process. To handle that, you hire more staff. But more staff means higher overhead, and all of a sudden your profit margins are shrinking. And just like that, you're caught on this hamster wheel, working way harder just to stay in the exact same place. So what's the usual answer to all this pressure? Just hire more people. But that, my friends, leads us straight to our second big problem, what I like to call the hiring treadmill. Yeah, that old formula? It's broken. It just doesn't work anymore. The reality today is that hiring locally is crazy expensive, training takes forever, and good people often leave. And, here's the real hidden cost. Your most valuable, your most expensive senior-level staff end up buried in mind-numbing data entry instead of doing the high-value advisory work that actually grows the business. Okay, enough doom and gloom. Let's start talking about the solution. This brings us to the strategic answer, and it's a total shift in how we think about a firm's capacity to get things done. This really says it all, doesn't it? Instead of trying to build a bigger, more complicated machine inside your own office, you build a smarter, more flexible one. Outsourcing lets you expand what your firm can do without adding all the management headaches and overhead. It's about capacity without complexity. So that all sounds great in theory, but what does it actually look like day to day? Let's get super practical and see how this model solves the real-world bottlenecks that are draining your team right now. Let's start with a classic pain point, inventory reconciliation. It sounds so simple, but for any client in retail or e-commerce, this is a black hole where hours and, honestly, profits just vanish. Does this scene look familiar to you? You're juggling data from Shopify, from Amazon, from some warehouse system. Nothing is in the same format, and you're living in these massive spreadsheets, just hunting for mismatches. It's tedious, it's so easy to make a mistake, and it delays the month-end close every single time. Now look at the alternative. An outsourced team uses automated systems to validate and match everything with precision. They find the discrepancies, and they hand you a clean, standardized report. Your team's job completely changes from fixing the messy data to simply reviewing the clean output. That right there is a total game changer. All right, next up, a bottleneck that everyone knows and absolutely dreads, especially come tax season, documentation. This is where your most valuable professional hours often go to die. It's just organized chaos, isn't it? Missing forms, client emails with 10 different kinds of attachments, and just endless follow-ups. Your expert tax pros end up spending the first few hours of every single job just playing administrator, just organizing files before they can even start the actual tax work. But the outsourced solution brings a beautiful sense of order to all that madness. It creates a system for collecting and structuring everything. You get automated checks to make sure all the docs are there, and the result? Your tax experts get a clean, structured package of data ready to go. They can start doing what you actually pay them to do right from minute one. So what we're really talking about here isn't just, fixing a couple of tasks. It's about building a fundamentally new, a fundamentally better operating model for your whole firm. And this is the philosophy that makes it all click. Execution offshore, strategy onshore. This is the mantra of the modern, scalable accounting firm. Let me show you what that actually looks like. So here's that smarter structure in action. Think of it like a pyramid. At the base, you've got all the processing and prep work being handled super efficiently offshore. That moves your in-house team up a level to focus on high-level reviews and quality control. And that frees up your senior staff to be at the very top of the pyramid, doing client strategy and high-value advisory work. Every single person is working at their highest and best use. And hey, this isn't just about throwing more people at the problem. This new model is powered by some incredibly smart technology that makes it so reliable and efficient. Specifically, we're talking about automation and natural language processing. So what on earth is NLP? Well, think of it this way. It's technology that basically teaches software how to read a document, like a PDF invoice or a bank statement, the same way a person would. It can find the vendor, grab the total amount, pull out the line items, and then feed that data straight into your system. It just massively reduces errors and speeds the whole thing up. Okay, let's just address some of the common fears head on. The big one is always quality. But the reality is, by standardizing your processes and using tech to cut down on manual entry, you actually improve quality. Another one is thinking this is just a tax season thing. Nope, this gives you year-round capacity. And finally, can they adapt to us? Yes. A good offshore partner trains their teams on your specific systems and your workflows. This is not a one-size-fits-all solution. So this all brings us to the final and most important part, your actual path to true, sustainable scale. Let's just wrap this all up. Growth doesn't create a sales problem, it creates a capacity problem. And outsourcing is, hands down, the most strategic way to solve for capacity. It expands your bandwidth, it takes the pressure off your team, it improves consistency, and maybe most importantly, it unlocks that precious time your senior staff need to focus on advisory services. It makes your growth both profitable and sustainable. Look, at the end of the day, this isn't about working less. It's about working smarter. It's about finally creating the space to build the advisory-focused, high-value firm you always dreamed of running. So the only question left is, are you ready to build that firm?